Welcome to Monster Monday. To keep with the theme of the week, not only is this gore because killer flicks and it being gore week over there, but also I have been knocking out all the Saw movies. Last night I did The Collector for Slasher Sunday, and Marcus Dunstan and Patrick Melton wrote Saw 4 through 7. They wrote and Marcus directed The Collector, and the first movie they ever did was a film called Feast. Now this is a movie that was made off that show Project Greenlight from Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Now I never did watch that show, so I'm not exactly sure how this came from that. I don't know if like every season they made another movie and this just happened to be one of them, because I know that it's like 4 seasons. I know this somehow came from it. So can someone explain to me how that worked? I don't know the show. I've heard of it. I know that they like get, they had scripts that were sent in and whatnot. So that'd be pretty cool. Like if every season they made a movie at the end, and like, was there 4 movies? I don't know. So can someone please explain that to me if they did watch it. Now let's get in the movie itself. When I originally saw this back in maybe 2007 or something, because this came out in 06 if memory serves me. And I want to say I saw it like right shortly after it came out. Went into it thinking like, oh, this will be a fun little monster movie. And man, I have just really had a good time with it. And I think one of the things like that was really exciting about it is that after I watched it, it was announced that Dunstan and Melton were going to be taking over the writing for Saw, the Saw franchise. So it was around the time when Saw 4 was announced, and I was such a big fan of Saw at that time, like 1 through 3, and then I saw it was like the Feast guys, and I was like, oh wow, the guys who did Feast, this should be fun. And yeah, as you guys saw in my reviews, I'm a big fan of all the Saw movies, so they brought it home for me for sure. But let's stick on this movie. Now, I think the thing I remember best from this movie, because I think I've only seen it once. The sequels are honestly where it's at for me. I know a lot of people hated those and they thought they were way too over the top and way too stupid. No, not for me. They are just the right amount over the top. They're just the right amount of stupid. The ending of the third one, a lot of people bag on the ending, but I don't know, like that is amazing to me, because I'm not going to say what it is right now in case you guys haven't seen it. But it totally worked for me because it is just the right amount of fucking absurd, just like the rest of this whole series is. But like the thing I remember the most is the bios that are on the screen when each character is introduced, and it shows like their occupation, their name, their life expectancy. One of their life expectancies was different than I remembered. I always quoted it wrong. The first hero guy that came through the door, spoilers obviously for this movie, but the first hero guy, I remember his life expectancy saying better than God, but it didn't. It said it was like really fucking good or something, and I was like, oh. And then he dies like a minute later. But I remember it saying something along those lines of like, he's got the best chance, don't even worry about it. And he fucking, ends up dying like a minute later, which is so funny because it like this movie subverts all the expectations that you expect from it throughout the whole film. Like just every time you think someone's going to go this way or that way, it goes in the opposite direction, which is what these kinds of movies should do. I mean, all these movies, that's how I want movies to be. I want to be sitting there. I don't want to ever be able to guess much. Like there's those moments where you guess something that's pretty smart and you're like really feeling good about yourself. But for the most part, yeah, I mean, who wants to watch movies where you can fucking, guess everything that's going to happen? This movie definitely has a lot, but in the second and third one, they go so bonkers. They go so out of control with everything that it's near impossible to guess anything in it, because a lot of the times it doesn't even have any rhyme or reason to it, especially, as I said, the ending of the third one. It's just like, okay, that was completely out of left field. But anyway. So yeah, those bios were, that like really set the tone for me, because I don't think I'd ever seen anything like that before at that time. I've seen it since, But at that time, I remember the bios and being like, "That's funny. That really worked well." And it's just little things like that can be so fun. We got Henry Rollins in here playing some like self-help wannabe Tony Robbins guy, and like tries to have a couple different speeches throughout this, and there's one where he's giving a speech. He's trying to rally the troops, and the guy just like the whole room's silent. The guy's like, "Dude, are you gay?" Such a good line. We got Clu Gulager in here, who is the father of the director, and John, the director here, he has directed a few things that Dunstan and Melton have done. He did the other two feasts, and pretty sure he did Piranha as well. The ones they did together, something. They were like kind of a duo for a while, but then Marcus took over and started directing his own stuff for The Collector, The Collection, Neighbor, stuff like that. And I don't know. I think I prefer Marcus's work because The Collector and The Collection are just freaking awesome. I can't wait to get to The Collection. I haven't seen it in a while, and I picked up the Blu-ray, so. And I haven't watched it. It still wasn't opened. I just opened up the packaging, so I'm looking forward to that. Even though the Collector's Blu-ray was not wonderful. So hopefully this one looks much better, but we don't know. We also got Jason Mewes in here, Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, and he's playing himself. And he does not last long at all. I like his life expectancy was like surpassed expectations or something. Like he wasn't supposed to be alive this long, but yeah, it's great that he plays himself in this, coming from Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, who are in a lot of Kevin Smith's movies. They definitely had some input in him coming into this. But yeah, does that hero's line of like, "I'm the guy who's gonna save your ass," and then just gets taken through the window and obliterated. I think another thing that I really like about the sequels is that they had a better budget, and I think they had way less restrictions. I know that this was being overseen by like Harvey Weinstein and stuff, he's like the meddler of meddlers. So I'm sure that they were limited on what they were able to do. But the sequels just have an insane amount of gore and violence. Now this one has a good amount. Do not get me wrong, but and that's okay because the sequels usually do up the violence, and you don't absolutely know. But for movies like this, like out there monster movies that are really just kind of banking on cheap kills and funny lines and whatnot, gore is absolutely necessary. Another thing that's really lacking from this movie is, tits. We get a girl's cleavage, which is wonderful and all, but I was surprised she never bared all there. But so they kill one of them, and they try to, Henry Rollins gets it on the thing, and he's like, "Oh, we'll assert our dominance by showing them one of their dead." And they go out there and they eat their own child, and then they fuck we get to see these things fuck. We get to see these things fuck a lot more in the sequels, but we get to see these things fuck each other, and then a baby comes out like instantly and is born. Oh my god! Could you imagine if sex was like that? Imagine if if you were having sex and as soon as you fucking finished, a baby came out. If you got her pregnant. Oh my god, that would make sex a lot different, huh? But then again, I guess if you were a species that made them instantly, it would be like, well, could you imagine having sex and then finding out months later that you now are pregnant, and you had at least it just came out instantly. You knew right away. I was just like, wow, that would change things a little bit, just a little bit. Anyway. And this guy gets just covered in this slime, and throughout the movie he's just falling apart, and he's just getting more and more messed up. And then he asks the chick, and he's like, how do I look? And she's like, you look, and he's like, does that look better? And she's like, yeah, you look better. And then she just goes and vomits because of how disgusting he is, because maggots and shit coming out of his eyeballs. his eye socket, where he gets like his eyeball yanked out of his head, and you got like the cord attached to it, and it just keeps yanking and eventually rips. Anybody who has any eyeball problems, do not watch this. And the kid, the main chick here's kid gets killed. They kind of make a thing like his life expectancy is like a long and happy life. Yeah, about that. Like, I don't think any of the life expectancies things actually pan out the way they say they're going to. And we get the cock stuck in the door. One of the monsters gets its cock stuck in the door, and it's ripped off. It like falls down the stairs, goes under, is like spinning and flopping around. Then some guy comes down and smushes it. Oh God, this movie's so gross and juvenile. I love it. And then one of the girls goes outside. They rig a bomb on the biker chick, who I think her sister, right, comes in the second one. It's like the biker queen, and this is like the biker chick. But she's alive. They think she's dead, and they put her out there anyways. And the guy's like, she's alive, and he's like, no, she isn't. And they like let her get taken away, and she has a bomb attached to her. And then one of the babies comes up and just starts fucking her face like super fast. And they're watching and they try to get the bomb going off, and then it like exits her for a second, and she just spits up tons of cum, monster cum. Oh my God! Anyone who hasn't seen this movie is just like either like, oh my God, I gotta see this right now, or oh my God, this is too fucking stupid for me. I'm glad I missed it. So good. And then they blow the damn thing up. And then they get this girl. They're like trying to get to the truck. Everyone's dying to try to get there. Everyone, like, you think this girl's gonna get to her kid. Nope. And so then they send out this other chick, and she runs off. She gets to the car, and they're like, hell yeah, drive it like you own it, or whatever. Or drive it like you stole it. And she just comes like straight at them, makes a big circle, and just takes off. And you think like, in most movies, they'd have like the Han Solo moments, like they left us, like whatever, and then they come in, so let's blow up, let's blow this thing, kid, and get out of here. Like, nope, this fucking bitch ain't coming back, okay? This is more of a DJ. This is more like, I'm leaving, and I'm doing this for myself. Goodbye. And we don't see her again in this entire film. I can't remember if they catch up to her in the sequel. I think they do. But I just love that she bails, and they don't do a like she comes back at the last second to save the day bullshit like we see in every movie. Nope, gone. The monsters in this just look like barbarians in some like sword and sorcery movie or something, or like some movie set in BC's 10,000 BC or something. They just have like these huge like buffalo skins over them, and they're like big buff men, and then they got like skulls of animals worn over their head. You've seen plenty of like people wearing those kinds of costumes in like cults or something out in the woods in some kinds of horror movies. So but then they just grab right here and here, almost brain dead, where the kid like pulls his face out of the girl. They just pull those whole outer exterior layer of their body off. Maybe when they mature enough, there's like, it's like an, I don't know, like an exoskeleton or something, I don't know, but they like just tear it apart, and then there are these like naked skin monsters under there. They don't have any fur anymore, they don't have anything. It's like shedding their skin and coming out, and they have like 100 teeth. They look more like on the cover there, because on the cover you're like, those don't look like those monsters at all, they've duped me. But no, it was coming. And the guy's trying to save the day, the dude who's fallen apart and his eye's been taken out, and he lights the Molotov cocktail. He's trying to light it, and you think he's gonna light it, or you think that's gonna come in, and the monster comes up and just grabs him and just smashes his head, and his head just blows up, and blood's just pouring everywhere, spraying all over everybody. And then they like pin one of them down, and she goes in with the shotgun, she shoves it in the mouth, and you think she's gonna pull the trigger and blow its head off, but nope, gun doesn't work. So then the thing starts to get up, and they push him back down, and Clu Gulager's character starts having a heart attack. And he's like trying to help out, but he can't because his fucking heart's giving out on him. And so she just takes the butt of the shotgun and she must smash this thing's face easily 50 times. At least. At bare minimum, I wouldn't even be surprised if it was like 75 times. She just keeps smashing this fucking thing's face. Fucking smashing. And then it's like got all of its teeth knocked out. She smashed its whole face up. And then she takes her arm and she just shoves it all the way down its fucking throat and just holds it in there and holds it in there until this thing suffocates to death. What a badass. What a badass chick. Holy shit. And that ends the night. And it is the brother and the two brothers and the girl, and they go out to the car and they're about to drive off into the sunset, and the car starts for like a second and the music starts playing and it's gonna like roll the credits and the car stalls and just comes and it's like super anticlimactic. And the girl gets out and tries to push and she can't because it's too uphill. Then the guy gets the car started and she jumps in, the music starts and they drive off and the movie ends. Awesome stuff. I love that kind of stuff. Just that added little extra joke totally like takes the steam out of the whole like heroic riding off into the sunset ending. It's funny. It's played for gags. It's played for a joke. It's not trying to take itself too seriously, which is exactly what this kind of film should do. And I can appreciate the fucking hell out of it. I was hoping to get more stuff done tonight. I was actually going to finish and watch the collection and everything, but both of my kids are having growing pains, so I had to like sit in the room and rub their legs for a while. And those poor little ladies, man, must suck to fucking like grow and hurt. I can't even remember a time when I was doing that, but got to take care of your girls first. But this is a really fun rewatch. I'm really looking forward to part 2 and 3 because I'm excited to talk about how stupid and awesome those movies are. I know I am going to be, as usual, some of the only fans, but I know you guys always come out of the woodworks. I'm always really impressed by my subscribers. I must just appeal to a person who likes really unliked shit. I think that's what my channel is about. Like, I love stuff that other people hate, and I think I attract like-minded people like that. So, when I did the Saw series, I just kept expecting, like, as it kept going on, as I got into 4 and 5 and 6, and I was like, all right, here we go. Like, every time I uploaded one, I'm like, all right, here's the one. Like, there's going to be a lot of people who are like, oh, man, this series sucks and this and that. Never happened. It never happened. There's 1 or 2 here or there that's like, this one didn't work for me, or like whatever. But for the most part, I got a ton of comments on every one of them. Like, they're all like people that were all about them. So I'm kind of, I don't know, maybe my expectations are too high now, and then I will get them for Feast 2 and 3. But I'm looking forward to that because I think I'm going to have some fans of this series in here, and we can just gush about how fun these are, how everyone else needs to lighten the fuck up. All right, guys.